Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a video I've been working on for a while actually, and it's my top 15 favorite video game franchises of all time. So this is an opinionated list. It's my favorite games. It's not what I think are like the best franchises or the most popular franchises over the years. It's the ones that I personally enjoyed the most, and I think it's going to be fun. It'll be fun to reminisce and go back and look at my favorite franchises of all time. That's why I'm doing this video. And if you enjoy the content, please do drop a like on the video. It helps out a lot. It's the best way to let me know that you enjoy the content. And let's just jump into the video. Okay, so the rules are there has to be at least 3 games in the franchise, and I have to have played 3 of the games in that series. So for games like BioShock and God of War, I would have them on the list, but I've only played 2 of the games in that series. Same with The Witcher. So they would be on my list, but I've only played 2. I can't make a fair judgment on the series as a whole, I guess. And I think it's just better if it's from series with 3 games. Okay, so a couple honorable mentions. I'm just going to give 3 honorable mentions before we get into the top 15 list. And that is Infamous, Little Big Planet, and Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo, I'm surprised it's not on the list to be honest, but once I went through my top 15, I played a lot of Gran Turismo. There's only one racing game on the top 15. Gran Turismo is probably like 16th, just missing out. So I love those games. I played a lot of them growing up, but yeah, just misses out. And let's get into the top 15 starting now. Also guys, let me know your lists, your maybe top 5. You don't have to do your top 15 obviously, but your top 5, top 3 favorite franchises of all time in the comments. I'm interested to see how it differentiates between everyone. So yeah, let me know.
If you don't make that kind of choice, you have no place being in command.
Alright, with the pleasantries out of the way, let's get into the list. Coming in at number 15 is Call of Duty. So it might be a surprise to some that this is so far down the list, but with Call of Duty, I've always had like a good relationship, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it was like a great relationship and I was in love with the franchise or anything like that. Like I really liked the campaigns in Call of Duty, I always did, but I never got too into the multiplayer or the zombies, and that's where I know a lot of people fell in love with these games. There was a couple of outlier games where I really liked the multiplayer. I played a lot of it, mainly World at War and Modern Warfare 2 as well. I did play a lot of World War 2 as well. Just quite recently. I played a good bit of the multiplayer in that game. But yeah, as I said, I really liked the campaigns in Call of Duty, especially the more recent ones like Advanced Warfare with Kevin Spacey, even though now I know Kevin Spacey is in a little bit of trouble, you know. Still a great guy in my opinion. I'm kidding, guys. Alright, so Kevin Spacey, yeah, we'll not talk about that situation, but he's a really good actor anyway, and I really liked him in Advanced Warfare, and I thought that game was great overall, the campaign at least. I know a lot of people didn't like really the multiplayer, and it's the same with Infinite Warfare. I really liked the campaign in Infinite Warfare. I thought it was quite enjoyable. Had Jon Snow, aka Kit Harington, and it had Conor McGregor in it as well. A couple of weird appearances there. But yeah, I really liked the campaigns in those 2, and I really liked the campaign in World War II as well. I thought that was quite enjoyable, a bit more of an old classic style Call of Duty campaign. So yeah, overall for this series, Call of Duty, it was one where I enjoyed it over the years, but it's not one where I get mega excited about a new release coming now, especially now. I don't really care about Call of Duty. I'll play the campaign, I'll be excited to play the campaign, but I'm not like one that's mega hyped for Call of Duty to come every year. I don't really care, especially now with Black Ops that wasn't even having a campaign. If that's going to be a thing going forward for Call of Duty, I'm probably not even going to pick them up. But I know a lot of people will have this up near the top for the impact it had on them growing up, and a lot of people played the shit out of the multiplayer back when Modern Warfare was around, the good old days. But yeah, that's where it is for me. We're going to move on to number 14. Coming in at number 14 is Halo. This is another one I feel like a lot of people will have it higher up, but I actually never played these games originally. I was always a PlayStation kid growing up, and I never had an Xbox until the Xbox One. I know, sue me. But I played through all these games when the Master Chief Collection came out. The Master Chief Collection game came out, and I really enjoyed the campaigns. I actually really liked the campaigns. I played through them all like continuously. I didn't stop. It's not like I took a big break in between campaigns or anything. I played through the first, played through the second, played through the third, and I really enjoyed them, I must say. Definitely I think 2 is my favorite, but yeah, this is more on the list for me for story rather than multiplayer, which I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but that's basically just because I haven't played the multiplayer for Halo. I played a little bit on the Master Chief Collection, but I never really like got into it, so I just haven't experienced it in the same way that people growing up did with Halo, you know? I also recently saw that Halo Reach is coming to the Master Chief Collection, which I'm excited about, as obviously I've not played that as well because I didn't have an Xbox growing up, as I said. So I'm really excited to actually get a chance to play the Halo Reach campaign as well. And maybe when that comes out, I might get back into the multiplayer a little bit and try out the Halo Reach multiplayer if that's there in the Master Chief Collection, which I assume it will be, obviously. Yeah, so Halo 2 was definitely my favorite, followed closely by Halo 3. Really liked the both of them. I tried to like Halo 5 when I played that around launch. I really did try to get into it, but I just couldn't get into it in the same way for some reason as the earlier games. But either way, I'm excited to play Reach, and the new Halo when that eventually comes out as well, so I can get even more into this great franchise.
Who are you again? Spyro. 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 I'm getting a little winded.
So number 13. Number 13 is my purple little friend, Spyro the Dragon. And I don't know, I just fell in love with Spyro as a kid. I know a lot of people would have Crash Bandicoot above Spyro, but I never got into Crash the same way I got into Spyro. Spyro is the one that stuck with me, the one that I have big nostalgia for. I don't really have too much to say about the Spyro games, but the nostalgia of recently playing through the remake made me realize I just can't leave this off the list at all. I love this beautiful purple bastard, and nothing's gonna change that. We need a new Spyro as well, guys. Come on. I'm assuming we're going to get a new Crash, so maybe a new Spyro as well. We're getting that Crash Team Racing remaster, and then maybe a new Crash, and then after that, hopefully, we get a new Spyro as well. That would be absolutely perfect.
The cartel turned the city into a battleground. We thought we were ready. We were outmatched. Outgunned.
Coming in at number 12 is Army of Two. Now, this is the first one on the list where I don't think a lot of people will have this on their top 15. If they were to make up a top 15, I would say maybe like 3% of you would have Army of Two on there, if even. So yeah, this is one that just brings back so many great memories, especially of co-op gaming. Obviously, that's how it's meant to be played. I played it with my dad, I played it with my brother, I think. Maybe my brother was too young, but I played it with my friend and my dad anyway, I remember that. I used to play it with them all the time. I played through these games a bunch of times just for the sheer fun of the teamwork. And the characters in it, obviously, and the way you could customize them was absolutely awesome. Like, the humor of Salem and Rios was just great. I remember the banter they used to have. It used to make you laugh the whole way through the game. Yeah, I felt like all three games were just so much fun. And I'd love to see a remaster, a trilogy remaster at some point, but or even maybe a new game. But unfortunately, I doubt we'll ever see either. Yeah, I just find it hard to believe that we'll ever get a remaster or even a new game from this franchise. But it was definitely one that I'll remember, and one that will live fondly in my memory. Playing that A Way Out game recently, it just kind of gave me those vibes for Army of Two, you know, just the same kind of vibes. But yeah, for Army of Two, the memories will have to do for now. But yeah, if you haven't played these games, guys, I'd recommend checking it out on Xbox backwards compatibility if you can, because I think it's still worth playing through them and having a bit of fun with a friend if you can.
Commanding officer at Way Station Romeo. They began reacting to bright lights, retreating to the dark corners.
Number 11, Dead Space. The only horror franchise on my list is one well worth being here. I would probably have Resident Evil on here as well, but I have only played 2 of those games, so I can't really put it on here. That would be cheating. I've only played Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 7, so yeah, I can't really put this on the list in good conscience. Anyway, it all started with Isaac Clarke in 2508. So way into the future with Dead Space, and what a time it was to be alive. To me, Dead Space had absolutely everything that a horror game needs to be great. It had everything, man. It had the atmosphere, it had the scary moments, it had the fun gameplay, and to me, most importantly as well, it had that great story. You know, I'm one of these guys that just love stories in games, and I love like a linear story like Dead Space was. From the dismemberment to kill oncoming enemies to the heartbreaking moments Isaac died, And then he really died. So they are moments like that I'll never forget, I swear to God. I wish we could have got another game from this franchise, but it was not to be. But yeah, I wish we could have seen more from Dead Space. Maybe in the future we'll get a remaster trilogy. I think that's probably likely, to be honest. But I don't think we're ever going to get a Dead Space 4, unfortunately. Maybe way into the future they might reboot the series or something. But yeah, Dead Space is one that will live on in the memory. Absolutely great franchise. Isaac Clarke, you're a legend, buddy. And may you rest in peace. Alright, so cracking into the top 10, we have one of my favorite superheroes, and that's Batman with the Batman Arkham series. So yeah, this was one of my favorite superheroes brought to life in video game form, so it was kind of a huge deal to me. It doesn't get much better than that. There was obviously a lot of pressure on these games to be good, a lot of pressure on Rocksteady to deliver a game worthy of Batman, and to me, they did not disappoint whatsoever. Arkham Asylum was nothing short of superb, absolutely masterfully made game. I thought a masterpiece. To me, this was the pinnacle. They couldn't really surpass it. They tried their darndest, and Arkham City to me was really good as well. It was a truly great game. It didn't let me down at all or anything, but I just don't think it could get to that level of Arkham Asylum just because it was so great. But yeah, the amazing encounters with the Joker, I won't soon forget those, man. They were awesome. But it wasn't just the Joker and Batman that made these games great. It was all of the characters brought to life within this world. Rocksteady, I feel like they've done such a great job of tying it all together. It wasn't just about Batman, it was about the world around him and his other life, you know, Bruce Wayne. And although Origins to me was widely controversial, not to me, Origins like in general was widely controversial rather, I still enjoyed it personally. It definitely didn't quite live up to Asylum and City, but to me it was still a solid game and I enjoyed it. Then came Arkham Knight, what was to be the final one in the series. And there was a few little nitpicky things that I had about it. There was a few things that I didn't like about the game overall. Like I felt like the overuse of the tank was like, it was just way too much, man. We done way too many stupid tank missions and it kind of ended up just pissing me off. But in terms of story, it definitely didn't disappoint. And it didn't disappoint in like wrapping up the franchise, the story as a whole. The ending left a sense of mystery of what happened that I wish would be solved, but it may never be. A great ending indeed, though, and overall these 4 games were magical. If you think about it as a franchise, like just really good games, and I can't wait for more Batman games to come, and they'll follow Rocksteady's footsteps. Also can't wait to see what Rocksteady is doing next. It should be interesting to see for sure. I really wish they were working on that Superman game, but it seems like that is not the case. I've heard rumors that it might be a Titans game, and so that could be interesting as well. Maybe get a little Titans TV show style going on there. But we shall see. We shall see what they come up with, and I'll definitely trust Rocksteady to do the right thing and make a great game.
Chimera are perfect killing machines. We must use their power against them. We must travel to New York City. We must...
Now, number 9 is Resistance. I know a lot of people probably won't have this in their top 15 at all, but this is like... Oh, I still remember the moment I got my PS3 for Christmas. I knew I was getting it. I knew the gift was coming, but I didn't know the experiences that it would bring, you know? And Resistance was the very first game I played on it, and boy did it leave a lasting impression. Resistance Fall of Man, that was the first Resistance game. I instantly fell in love with the game, and in turn I fell in love with the console as well. I remember like running out showing my dad how cool the game was, how great the graphics were. I remember the creepy chimeras taking over the world in this alternate history of the 1900s, and that was just such a cool setting to me. Everything was so coolly done. It was dope. To me, this series is one of the most underrated. I feel like it never gets the credit it deserves. The great thing about these games to me, though, is that they're all top tier quality. All 3 games in the trilogy are all as good as each other to me. I really liked all of them, and I held out hope for so long, man. I really did that we'd get a Resistance 4. I just felt like it was coming because I felt like it deserved to come, but unfortunately, it wouldn't be the case, and Insomniac went on to work on bigger things, I guess. Not necessarily better things to me, but bigger things for sure in terms of like Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, you know. I'm still holding out hope for a remaster of these 3 games. Please make it happen. Please, Sony, bless us with a Resistance. Maybe tonight at the State of Play. Actually, the Sony State of Play is tonight. But yeah, I feel like we might get a remaster of Resistance or Killzone. Killzone would probably be the more likely for the remaster of the trilogy, but I would prefer it to be Resistance because I just because we recently got a Killzone game and we never are probably going to get a Resistance 4, unfortunately. I still hold out hope, but you know, it's probably not going to happen. And the reason that I'd kind of prefer to see the remaster of the Resistance trilogy as well is I feel like a lot of people haven't experienced it, right? I feel like not everyone's played these games, and they deserve to be played, man. They really do. If you have a PS3 still, you play on PS3, and you haven't played these games, I'd highly recommend checking them out. And I think you can actually play Resistance 3 on PS Now, but it really doesn't make as much sense to play Resistance 3 if you haven't played Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2. But yeah, if they ever do remaster the 3 games, I'll be first in line to play it, and I'll be doing a full series on this channel. You have my word. Moving on from the intense battles with the Chimeras, we move on to a different type of intense battles, because in number 8, it's the Tiger Woods series, the Tiger Woods PGA Tour series. So I can't even begin to tell you the amount of hours I've spent on these games growing up. I look back on these games with such fond memories, knowing we're never going to see another one added into the series, unfortunately. They really did try with the Rory McIlroy game, but it wasn't the same at all. And you know, my earliest memories of these games are with the fantasy courses, the sheer fun it was playing with friends and family on these ridiculously hard courses. And you'd feel like sometimes shooting plus 42 on the Predator would be an achievement, you know? Okay, well, maybe not that extreme, but you get the point. These fantasy courses really did shape how much I love these games, though. The Highlands, the Emerald Isle, but it was my love for the game of golf as well growing up that made me love the series, like seeing people like Ricky Fowler added in year on year, because I fell in love with Ricky's game, I fell in love with his persona, and I loved watching him growing up, and getting to play as him in the games was huge as well, and getting to play as Tiger, obviously, because Tiger is just the all-time great. I really do miss these games a lot, and I wish there was a way to play them on the newer console like you can with some other games backwards compatible, but it seems like EA have not made that available. Thanks, EA. Appreciate it. How many times am I going to say that in this series? I think in terms of my favorite Tiger Woods games, I would say 2005 and 2012 would be my favorites, just because I remember them most. I think it was 2005. It could have been 2004, but I think it was Tiger Woods 2005, the one that had the Predator, the Highlands, the Emerald Isle. I think there was that snow map as well. I can't remember what that's called though. But yeah, I just had such an immense amount of fun with these. I played them so much growing up, playing against my friends and stuff like that. It was just an absolute blast to play them.
We're a crew, and she left us with nothing. We're gonna end this.
So moving on to number 7, it's Need for Speed. I got that Need for Speed, baby. So this is actually the only racing series that made the top 15, and it's a damn good one. I know Gran Turismo just missed out. I honestly feel like Gran Turismo should be in here somewhere, but I had to make way with a couple games. But yeah, it's a damn good one. It's a damn good racing game. The recent games to me don't have the same click. The same love I have for the franchise is mainly in the earlier games, I would say. The games like the Need for Speed Underground games, but most of all to me, Need for Speed Most Wanted. That's my favorite racing game of all time. It's not just one of my favorite racing games of all time, that's one of my favorite games of all time, period. And I'm talking about the 2005 one, by the way, not the 2012 one. The 2005 one is absolutely awesome, the one with the, you know, the BMW M3. Racing for the pink slips as you rank your way up to finally face off against that bastard Razor, the motherfucker that stole your M3 after sabotaging it. Remember that? The goddamn oil leak that you had? God damn this man, Razor. Yeah, just the whole structure of the game was just so much fun, and the story was awesome to me when I was a kid as well. I absolutely loved it. The cheesy cutscenes looking back on them, but back then I thought they were awesome. I thought they were so cool when that cop was like scratching your car and the ladies were talking to you and all that. I thought that was dope. I've went back and played it a couple more times since, and I still get that feeling when I'm playing it that it's just absolutely great. And Need for Speed did go in a different direction for a while, where I fell out of love with the franchise completely. But it kind of brought me back in a little bit with recent games like Need for Speed 2015, where it tried to kind of bring back that Most Wanted / underground feel. And while it never really got that straight feeling, I feel like I still really enjoyed the game, and I much preferred it to the other recent titles. And with Payback, I also kind of liked Payback. I wouldn't say I loved Payback, but it was a fun game. I had fun with it. I feel like they were just trying to be every racing game in one, which kind of just, I don't know, it kind of took away from the Need for Speed feel a little bit. But I'm cautiously optimistic for the future of Need for Speed, and I didn't think I'd be saying that a couple of years ago, so I'm thinking we're going to hear more about Need for Speed soon, probably at E3 or the EA Play event that they do, because they did say they have a new Titanfall game, a new Need for Speed game, and a new Plants vs. Zombies game coming within the fiscal year, so I assume we'll hear about the new Need for Speed soon, and yeah, as I said, cautiously optimistic.
We like to think it's paradise where we live. It's amazing what you do to protect that.
So yeah, number 6 is Killzone. We talked about this a little bit earlier when we were talking about Resistance, and I kind of struggled to realize which one I'd have higher, Killzone or Resistance. But to me, Killzone is just the peak for FPSs. Now, this is actually the highest FPS on my list. I think Killzone 2 is still my favorite FPS of all time, to be honest. It improved massively on Killzone 1, like a massive improvement. I absolutely loved the story in Killzone 2. The Hellgas, the atmosphere. I had a deep love for the game, which got me invested massively in the franchise overall. It got me really excited for the next Killzone, Killzone 3, which was exactly what I wanted it to be. Killzone 2 style gameplay, with a few tweaks and changes that kind of didn't really take away from it too much, while also keeping the same great storytelling, in my opinion. After that, we'd have to wait until 2013. So 2013 was a special year. It was the year that the PS4 came out, and the day that Killzone Shadowfall came out was the day that the PS4 came out. I actually went to a midnight release to collect my PS4, the Killzone Shadowfall bundle, obviously. So yeah, that's when I got the next Killzone, Killzone Shadowfall. And this is probably the Killzone that I actually put the most time into. I stayed up half the night that first night that I got the PS4 playing it, and I was in absolute awe of the visuals, man. I genuinely couldn't believe how good it looked. It was that same feeling I had with the Resistance when I played it for the first time on PS3, except I think it was even improved. Like, the graphics in the Killzone campaign were amazing. They still hold up to this day. On top of the stunning visuals as well, I really connected with the story. I thought this game was actually really underrated. I think it was like sitting on a 73 on Metacritic or something, which I think it definitely deserves to be higher than that. I put countless hours into the multiplayer as well and had an absolute blast. That was actually, I think, the first game I played with Maximus Primus as well back in the day. We done a Killzone collab video, which was really fun. But yeah, I think actually Killzone Shadowfall is I think it's either the first game I uploaded to this channel or it's the second game. I think it's actually the second game. I have one Need for Speed Rivals video with no commentary or anything, just a 3-minute and 50-second video of me racing the car, and then I have a Killzone Shadowfall video, I think a 20 kill streak or something like that. And I just had an absolute blast with this game when it came out. I remember I was actually quite good at the multiplayer in Killzone, I believe, when it first came out anyway. I assume people caught up to me and took me over, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that some of my first ever YouTube videos are of Killzone Shadowfall. And not a bad game to start it all off, honestly. And yeah, I can't wait to see what comes next for the series. I assume there will still be a new Killzone, even though Guerrilla's main focus now is going to be on Horizon Zero Dawn 2, you would assume, right? But I think they'll still have a team branched off working on a new Killzone game, which we will see in time for the PS5. I think maybe they've done really good having Killzone Shadowfall as a launch game for PS4. They might be thinking like Killzone 2 or Killzone 5 as a launch title for the PlayStation 5. It kind of would make sense. and I think it would be a good move again. Overall, I'd rank it Killzone 2, Killzone 3, Killzone Shadowfall, and Killzone 1 in terms of best to worst. But I still really enjoyed all of the games, and I can't wait to see what's next for the franchise. Hopefully some good things to come. Maybe a remaster of the 3 early games, or else a new Killzone announced for the PS5 whenever that gets announced, you know? Be good to get either. So the first RPG on the list, which is actually kind of crazy because I'm really into RPGs, but this is the first one on the list, and let's start at the beginning, man. Dragon Age Origins, the first game in the series. Still to this day, it is my favorite RPG of all time. Don't at me. I've played through it 3 times, and I just absolutely love the characters and the world they built. The gameplay as well was super fun. And the story on top of all that was amazing as well. This game had it all to me, man. It really did. And the Hound in that game. Oh man, I love that goddamn dog, I swear to God. But yeah, meeting all the characters, building up your relationships was absolutely great. And to me, in the second game, the quality didn't drop at all. 2 may not be my favorite Dragon Age, but it's just as good, if that makes sense. You know, does that make sense? It kind of makes sense, right? The relationships between you and the characters is what makes the dialogue and story in this game so special. And of course, the romances. I'm winking right now. You can't see, but I'm winking right now, okay? I'm attempting anyway. Now, Dragon Age Inquisition, I had a bit of an up and down relationship, a little bit of a rocky start. But at first, I loved it, and I loved the Inquisitor, aka you being the leader. I loved the gameplay, and it felt like more of Dragon Age, basically, which is the series I love so much. But at some point, about 20 hours in, I think it was, it started getting like very grindy to me, and I don't really like that in games. I tried to do a main mission too early, and I ended up getting completely stuck. I had no saves, wasn't able to get past it in any capacity, and yeah, I just didn't have any saves that I could go back to recently, so I just put it to the side. I was like, fuck this, I'm done. And I actually didn't play it again until I literally think like 2-3 years later, and that was literally the end of last year, the end of 2018. Yeah, I managed to get past that bit that I was stuck at, and I don't know, I just ended up really liking the game again. I love the conclusion of it all. I don't know, I started to explore more. I explored and done some dragon fights, which I failed miserably a couple of times. You know, I didn't really know what to do in these dragon fights. Apparently you have to, like, my friend who plays the Dragon Age games a lot, she was telling me that you need like strategies to beat them. You need to have certain good characters, and I don't think I was high enough level at all. But I still really enjoyed the encounters that I had with them. And as I said, I really loved the conclusion of it all. So I'm excited to play that Trespasser DLC now, because you learn about Solace and what is happening leading up to this Dragon Age 4 announcement. So of course I'm very excited for Dragon Age 4. I can't wait for that. I'm definitely going to play the Trespasser DLC within the next few months. Before, I'm assuming Dragon Age 4 will not be out for a good number of years anyway, probably not until the next set of consoles, honestly. So we have a long ways to go. I have time to complete Trespasser, and yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the next Dragon Age as well, and I'm excited to continue this great franchise.
The New Earth government legalized no-holds-barred fighting. The Entry Mining Corporation established a series of leagues and bloody public exhibitions.
Number 4 is Unreal Tournament. I don't know why I said Killzone was the highest FPS on the list, because it's not. Unreal Tournament is. But like, I don't know why I said that. I must have been tripping. But other than World of Warcraft, I think Unreal Tournament 2004 is the game I've put the most hours into. I played through the campaign countless times. I played the multiplayer, both online and LAN, with my dad and my brother for an unholy amount of hours. Like, just, we played the shit out of that game all the time. But to me, where the Unreal Tournament 2004 game, which is the one I've played the most and I enjoy the most personally, definitely by far, is the campaign. And I know that sounds funny, but I just loved building up the team with the credits. It was always the one aspect I absolutely loved about the game, like getting Widowmaker and Romulus on your team, building them up through doing the matches against others, having them on your team, their credit score would go up. I just love that system so much. Even just talking about this right now makes me want to play through it again and maybe do some videos on it, because obviously it would be cool to have one of my favorite games up on the channel. Maybe just play through Unreal Tournament 2004 again. That could be fun. The 99, Unreal Tournament 2099, I was about to say 2099, 1999. I didn't play much of it, and so I can't really comment on it too much, but I still remember enjoying that game, because I only played that after I played Unreal Tournament 2004. Unreal Tournament 2004 was the first one I played. And with Unreal Tournament 3, to me it was a good game, but it wasn't like a great game. I had fun with it, but it definitely didn't have like the magic of UT 2004, that's for sure. And the recent Unreal Tournament as well, aka the abandoned, unfinished game on the Epic Game Store, it's a sad sight to see, man, because I actually played it and it seems to have a lot of potential. I wasn't good at it or anything because I was so rusty. I haven't played PC games. Literally, Unreal Tournament 2004 is the last shooter I played on PC, man. I swear to God, I switched over to console and I just never really got back into PC gaming until recently. So yeah, it just seemed to have a lot of potential. I hope one day maybe they go back to it when they have a team to spare from Fortnite. They go back and update it. That would be cool, and maybe eventually finish it. Time will tell, but I have a feeling that game is pretty much put to the side now, and we will not see much more from it, unfortunately. But it would be cool to see it get evolved in some way, maybe in the near future. But yeah, Unreal Tournament 2004, definitely my favorite one in the franchise, and it definitely carried it for that to be so high up the list at number 4. So moving on to the top 3, and there's 3 games remaining. Let me know if you can guess which they are. Kicking off the top 3 at number 3 is Pokemon. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. Alright, I'm gonna stop singing now. Yeah, this one is just my childhood, man. There's not much more to say. This is why I love games. Pokemon was such a huge part of my life growing up. I absolutely loved it. I didn't just play the games. I got the figures, I got the cards, but obviously my main love was with the games. I think Pokemon Red might have been my first one, unless it was Pokemon Yellow before that, whichever one, like around there. I definitely, like, Pokemon Red was my favorite one. I remember like being like super involved with Charizard, Charmander. I love that Pokemon so much. I absolutely fell in love immediately. I had such a connection with the Pokemon. Trying to decide which 6 to keep along your journey was always a struggle to me as well. But yeah, Charizard, as I said, was always my number 1. The journey was just so much fun overall, though. Catching a wild Pokemon for the first time, experiencing an evolution for the first time, catching a legendary bird, all 3 of which were awesome, by the way. Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. I remember that shit like it was yesterday. Articuno, I think, was my favorite, but I loved all the legendary birds. They were great. Yeah, nothing since has compared to Gen 1 for me. Like, those Pokemon are easily the best. I fucking love them. I absolutely love them. Like Charizard, Blastoise, Mewtwo, Articuno, Moltres, Zapdos, Rapidash, Growlithe, Arcanine. I just love them all, man. There was some ones from later on, like Lugia, that I really liked, the legendary bird. But I never had the same connection with the games, that's for sure. The earlier games were where I kind of just sunk my hours into on the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy, and Nintendo 3DS. I played a good bit of games on that, Pokemon games on that as well, I believe. But I'm excited to try out the Pokemon Sword/Shield games. I'll definitely give it a chance. The starters definitely don't look as cool as the Gen 1 starters, but I don't think any Pokemon will ever look as cool as them, so we've just got to accept that in our lives. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a chance, as I said, because this is the next mainline Pokemon game, and it's on Nintendo Switch, so it should be pretty fun to check out, and I think it's coming by the end of the year. Is that correct? I don't know, we'll see, but I'm excited to learn more about it and finally get my hands on it and play. That's Pokemon for you. That's my childhood, man, and it's number 3. So coming in at number 2 is Assassin's Creed. So it's actually crazy how fondly I look back on the early AC games. I feel like I've said that a lot tonight, where I look back on the earlier games a lot more fondly than the more recent ones, but it's never been more true with Assassin's Creed. Especially considering right now with the newer ones like Origins and Odyssey, I feel like they've just completely lost the magic. Not that they're bad games, but I feel like they just don't have the soul of an AC game. I've actually talked about that pretty in-depth in my Death of the Assassin's Creed franchise video, and it seems like a lot of you guys agreed with me. You can check that video out if you want to, if you haven't seen it before. But I'm here to talk about the good memories, and nothing epitomizes the good memories more than Desmond Miles. And the Animus story as well. It's just so much. It's just, that's what Assassin's Creed is to me. It's not just the Assassins and the Creed, it's Desmond Miles, and the new games don't have any of that. It doesn't have Desmond Miles, it doesn't have Assassins, it doesn't have the Creed. It's like, what's the point anymore? It's not an Assassin's Creed game. It's a cool game, but it's not an Assassin's Creed game, if you get me. But yeah, it was like a story within a story, and it was so well done with Desmond as well. The games made you get attached to him while also being attached to the character he plays as, whether it be Altair or whether it be the GOAT, Ezio Auditore de Firenze, who in my opinion is definitely the best character the series had. I don't think that's really up for dispute. I think most people think that. Ezio to me is one of the best characters in video games. He's so good, man. He done such a great job in the games, and he was sorely missed after his story was over. To me, the 3 games he was in are the 3 best Assassin's Creed games. Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite, Brotherhood next, and then Revelations. I never really had the same love for Black Flag as others. I feel like a lot of people have that in their top 5 AC games. They have it in their top 3 AC games. But I don't know, I didn't fall in love with that game the same way I did with the Ezio games. I felt it was like too much naval combat, not enough normal Assassin's Creed work. And funnily enough, the only Assassin's Creed game I haven't played before, like 2 days ago, I got Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. I got a code for it, and I've been playing the shit out of it for the last 2 days. So I'll have a full series going up on the channel of that starting on the 28th. I'm not sure when this video is going to be released, but by the time this video is released, my Assassin's Creed 3 playthrough might have already started. But I'm really enjoying it so far. Definitely feels like more of an old school Assassin's Creed game, which is the games that I love, obviously. So yes, I'll say after Assassin's Creed 3, because I haven't fully played through this one yet. After Assassin's Creed 3, the Assassin's Creed games as a whole went on a downward spiral, and it never really recovered. There was bright spots here and there like Syndicate, which I really enjoyed, but overall it seems to me like Assassin's Creed has lost its soul. And I don't know, it's just lost its soul with this recent open world grindy format, and it's a damn shame, to be honest, because I just loved this franchise so much growing up, and the early games, Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and even Assassin's Creed 3 now I'm really liking it as well. It definitely, you can tell that the trajectory went downhill in quality, and I hope that they can get it back at some stage. Maybe go back to the roots of why the Assassin's Creed games were great to begin with, and they'll be back for a winning formula. We'll see.
For those who prove worthy, paradise awaits.
Took a long time for him to get out of this game.
And surprise, surprise, Uncharted takes the gold. It's my favorite franchise of all time, and to me, it's not even close. With games that I've played with 3 or more, it's not even close, man. It really isn't. I love these games more than I can put into words, to be quite perfectly honest, but I'm gonna try to put it into words right here. Oh, I can't even, I just had a voice break because I'm breaking down about how much I love Uncharted. No, but really guys, Nathan Drake is my favorite video game character in the history of gaming. Like, I still remember the first scene of the entire series on that damn boat like it was yesterday. You had Drake, Elena, and Sully. Eventually Sully as well came into the frame. But the 3 characters who would go on to shape how good this franchise was and become some of my favorite characters of all time. Like, they easily were. Like, these 3 are some of my favorite characters of all of gaming. I absolutely love all 3 of them. The fluid banter these games had between the characters that would make you laugh all the way through the games. I thought that was a huge part of Uncharted, was the silly jokes making you laugh. and just overall making you have a good fun time. Truly astonishing set pieces, and just absolutely amazing. It was something that I hadn't really seen done this well in gaming. I feel like Naughty Dog brought it to a new level. Yeah, Uncharted 1 laid the groundwork, put it all in motion, got the games going, and then I feel like Uncharted 2 just brought it all to life. It improved upon absolutely every aspect of the first game, and it was just a masterpiece. From start to finish, Uncharted 2 was a masterpiece. It had everyone talking about it, the brilliant story, the characters. It's obviously where these games shine the brightest. And the interactions as well with Chloe and Elena in Uncharted 2 were great. Lazarevich and Flynn, both great villains, I feel like. And overall, the ending of this game, man, that was like utter madness. I was shocked by the ending, but it was like so much fun. And then the end, the kiss with Elena, Nate and Elena. I genuinely don't think I've ever shipped a video game couple so hard. It's honestly kind of weird. And I hate that I just used the word ship, but those two bring it out of me, all right? And to me, with Uncharted 3, the series didn't slow down at all. I loved it just as much as 2, even though I know a lot of people don't share that same opinion. A lot of people think Uncharted 3 was badly paced, but I really enjoyed it. I actually really liked the young Drake scenes, and I thought they were necessary for the story, the backstory. Also, the fake Sully death, man, I legitimately cried. I'm not even kidding. I teared up. Thanks, Naughty Dog, you absolute monsters. But again, I think Uncharted 3 had a perfect ending, and it just set up perfectly for Uncharted 4, which would be the final ride with Nathan Drake. And boy, did it live up to the hype. This isn't just my favorite game in the series. This is probably my favorite game of all time. I'm not exaggerating that at all. As you can see from my video today, a lot of the earlier games in the franchises were my favorite, and the series slightly regressed as time went on. But to me, the complete opposite is true with Uncharted. These games just kept on getting better, man. I just loved every second of Uncharted 4. Drake trying to live a normal life and be happy with Elena until his supposedly dead brother comes back into his life. Learning about their life together was really cool, I think. The flashback scenes again. Their relationship, I feel like, was a really cool addition to these Uncharted games because we didn't really have that in the first 3 games, obviously. And then you had Rafe. He's just my favorite villain. I don't even care. I know a lot of people hate him. I love Rafe, man. He's 100% my favorite villain. And overall, this game just tied everything together so well, in my opinion. It was done beautifully, while also bringing you on the adventure of a lifetime. Some of these graphics, these vistas looking out over the sea were absolutely amazing, especially when you went all around the world. You went to Scotland, the grave of Henry Avery. That level was absolutely just mind-bogglingly beautiful. I couldn't believe how good the graphics were in this game when it came out. And on top of that, they had massively improved gunplay from the previous games, I feel like. The same crazy set pieces that Uncharted is known for, and the ending was just absolute perfection. Nate and Elena have a daughter, a dog, life is good. Happy endings at the end of 4 magical games is just a must, you know? But I'll try not to spoil too much for people that haven't played Uncharted 4, but if you haven't, what the fuck are you doing here? Go and play it right now. All right, sorry, I got a little bit upset there. But yeah, then came Uncharted The Lost Legacy. That came out with Chloe and Nadine, and while I really enjoyed the game as well, I did enjoy it, I must say. I thought it was great, but it definitely didn't have that special feeling of the first games. Uncharted just isn't Uncharted without the main man, and that's Nathan Drake, the GOAT. The greatest of all time. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Naughty Dog. We appreciate you. And that's been my top 15 favorite franchises of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, as I said before, make sure to drop a like on the video. I really appreciate all the support on the channel recently. We passed 73,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 100,000. I want to hit 100,000, guys. So please subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, you can buy some merch. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, links in the description. All of that good stuff if you would like to support the channel. And I shall see you guys for another video very soon. Peace out.